What's going on, everybody? It's David Palmer, Leo King, and this is my show, Uncut Astrology, where I take off the mask and go deep behind the veil and give you this week's astrological forecast for the week of June the 29th through July the 5th of 2016. And I want to say thank you, everybody, for joining me on my app, the leokingapp.com, or you can find it on Apple or Android in the stores if you want to watch daily horoscopes every day and get daily notifications on your phone. And Hope in the Desert, my awesome conference, has moved to September 9th through 11th. Tickets are now on sale, and the group rate rooms are available now. Get those fast. They're going to fill up really fast. And I have brought the ticket prices way down. I want to get everybody out in the desert. I want us all to have a great time, bring the hope, and I'm doing it during eclipse season, and I'm doing it during Jupiter moving into Libra. Please join me in the desert for my awesome astrology conference. It's in the next 2.5 months. Get your tickets now at leokingevents.com. And actually, I am doing a webinar tomorrow on, or if you're wherever you're watching this, on June 30th about July. So if you want to watch that, that's going to be happening. You can find out more information at inclusiveastrology.com or follow me on Facebook, and I'll be posting that stuff up. And remember, every week I go through the astrology and I pick a free winner from whoever shares this video on my Facebook page and do a free reading. I literally just sent off 3 people literally in this week with their free readings, and I wrote on the back after they gave me their birthdays. So do it now and share this video if you want. This week, there's a lot of good and there's a lot of good. Number 1, the planet Mars this week is getting out of retrograde right as we start this video. Literally this week, June 29th. This is the date we've all been waiting for. June 30th, depending on where you're at in the world. But you know, this is really the moment for us. It's a turning moment. It's a turning moment for us to move forward in our lives. Mars, when it comes back online, is it's our strength. It's our willpower. And it also moves things forward. So there could be this energy of us feeling like we've been, you know, if we look back at the last 3 months, kind of like, yeah, things really kind of went forward, but they didn't. And maybe I just like, you know, I've been waiting for something to happen. And, you know, Mars coming direct this week really is kind of a signal that things are moving forward. Remember, Mars rules Aries, which rules the head. It is what fires us. It is a cardinal energy, right? It's a cardinal fire, Aries. But Mars is in Scorpio, its other ruler, which is a fixed, determined, you know, desirable want and need. Both Mars and Aries and Scorpio rule desires, wants, and needs. And there's this aspect of us really wanting to move forward towards the things in our life. Remember, this Mars went retrograde from 8 degrees of Sagittarius to 23 degrees of Scorpio. This covered the space where Saturn was from the beginning of 2014 all the way until here in at the, you know, basically into the beginning of 2016. So really, the last 2 years of your life really kind of had a deep clearing happen. And this is good news. What makes this really ironic about this week is as Mars comes forward, Mercury leaves Gemini and jumps right into Cancer. And this means there's a lot of emotions that we have not understood. I think with Mercury and Gemini, we've been trying to figure things out, and that's very difficult when you have all these planets in Pisces that have been squaring Mercury. You have Saturn opposing it. You have Jupiter, which is in Virgo. There's been too much energy for Mercury to try and understand. This means that we've all kind of been at a place where we're all kind of frazzled. And especially in a Mars retrograde, we're all frazzled and we don't know if we have what it takes to go and move forward. Now we finally get the energy to move forward, and Mercury comes into Cancer to kind of go, let me check my feelings here. Let's try and see how I feel, because I've been frazzled. You know, that's the best way to describe this energy, is like frazzled, and finally here's something to move forward. It's almost like, well, let me gain my composure a little bit here. Gee, mini Christmas. I'm a little bit, let me fix my hair. I just went through a crazy, weird thing here. You know, it's like, this week is all about getting your composure back with things to move forward without losing it. You know, this was about losing your cool, getting angry, getting frustrated, and getting frustrated while things were just a little bit too hectic and a little bit too all over the place. The good news is a lot of stability with Jupiter still trining Pluto. North Node and Jupiter still finishing their conjunction, but this week is the official goodbye, as the North Node will start to come into the earlier degrees of Virgo, and Jupiter will now start its exit of Virgo and start exiting to the later degrees of Virgo. So we're going to start to see the North Node and Jupiter split apart this week, which means we've come to a place where here's the universe opening a big door, and Venus will sextile in Cancer. It will sextile over to Jupiter, but it will oppose Pluto. So our projects, relationship aspects, as Mars moves forward, we're gonna have to take a new stand. You know, we're gonna have to really look at, does this feel like this is on the right path? Does this feel like this is the right kind of reality and life we want? Are these relationships really going in the right direction? This could be a final clearing in a relationship and then a new one entering right back in fast. And this could be really fun, this could be really exciting, but it also is gonna bring up a lot of old energy. Hold on, it's sunset, so I gotta turn me up a little bit. So the good news is there's a lot of good news. The bad news is if you're still having troubles hanging on to things that just really should die, Venus opposed Pluto is when the hoarder has to sell things, when the divorce has to finally be talked about, when the project has to finally say, you know what, maybe we do need to make a change here. Maybe I do need to make a change with maybe the people involved. Jupiter is supporting this, so I would say that there was extremely massive positive energy coming into this. It's almost like, you know, with one thing not working comes a great thing working. And with Mercury now that it's full speed and it's in Cancer, we're going to be able to really start to understand how we're feeling to make better decisions. I think it's been very difficult to make decisions lately with Saturn square Neptune. Everything's up in the air. The sandcastle keeps falling. Mars was, retrograde. So it was like, man, I'm just kind of like, just trying to keep the ball rolling here. You know, relationships really haven't really kind of been in a really formulated place after this Sun-Venus conjunction. I think we had to wait for Mars to come direct. The other part of relationships is Mars. Venus represents relationships, but Mars actually represents kind of the direct contact, right? It's always the man or the man in a relationship, even if it's a woman who's more masculine, who has to make the engaging. And I think that there hasn't been full engagement yet. And now you're going to start to see engagement as far as things really progressing in relationships, people saying what they're going to say, people expressing their emotions, all emotions coming out on the table. This is Venus opposed Pluto. This means everything's coming out. The true feelings are coming out. So be prepared. If you know that conversation has been waiting a long time, if you've been waiting for something to finally end, if you've been waiting for something to finally come to a resolution, especially with a relationship, this week is an excellent time for that. And with Mars coming direct in Scorpio, it really is a time that you've healed the last couple years and you're ready to move forward. And Mars still has to go through all the way until August, finish its Scorpio transit, and it's got to go over where it retrograded. The good news is, all the crap has been, buried, but we got to kind of, we kind of have to put the gravestones on everything. Wow, that's kind of a deep analogy there. A lot of you, like going back to the past and seeing the past, and it can be eerie, but now as you go to the past, you put a gravestone and it's a memorial, and you can put it behind you. You don't have to keep coming to this place like, when is it going to end? Whether that's a fear in your life or whether that's some sort of situation that just doesn't seem like it has an ending to it. Mars direct in Scorpio wants to bring endings, to bring new beginnings. There's also a new moon that's happening in Cancer. And this one's happening on July 4th into July 5th. And this one's happening with a trine to Neptune, which shows me, especially with Mars coming direct and with all this energy in water, and especially with Chiron that's gone retrograde, this is going to be a really healing new moon. So this holiday weekend is actually very great, especially with this Venus-Jupiter sextile. You're going to start to see a lot of positive things come out of this new moon with the trine to Neptune. Yes, it's sensitive. Yes, we're all kind of in a sensitive place. Yes, anytime you deal with Neptune, there's going to be, even if it's in the positive angle, there's going to be a lot that's just like, oh my gosh, I have to follow where I'm being guided, and this is a real test of your real true guiding GPS system of what you feel and what you got to do, what you got to put it into, and what you got to move forward with. And you gotta move forward. You can't be afraid of what somebody else might think, or what others might think, or what, this isn't about what's righteous, or this is about what you're feeling and what you must do. No matter what it feels like inside, you gotta do it. You gotta put an end to this. You gotta start this. You gotta go in this direction. And the things that came into your life over the last 3 months, usually things that come into your life during Mars retrogrades always are things that help you heal, but they also kind of sometimes don't work out. So maybe there's some things that came over the last 3 months that you really wanted to work out. Maybe you finally realized this week, it's just not working out. It's just not kind of what I was expecting, and what I want it to be like, and what I want it to feel like, and what I want it to be. This is a lot about like you learning how to feel comfortable with 3 planets in Cancer, and with all this water now, especially now that Mercury enters here and gets out of the crazy loony mutable cross that we were in. Things really get much more looking forward. Things, Mars coming direct is a very kind of boom moment and a spark. And in such a deep penetrating sign of Scorpio, it's like you're at the bottom, right, ready for this phoenix to rise. Yet last week I talked about having to kind of fight through this. Isn't so much about fighting for it now, as much as getting much more of a clear perception of your emotional guidance system this week of, what, I gotta do this. I got to put an end to that. I'm ready to face those things. This is what's going to work. This is what's not. Venus, Pluto, when they work together, which they're going to have to learn to work together this week, can bring great change and can create massive power and can create massive manifestation and can as well create amazing and extremely positive, intimate connections in relationships, especially with Jupiter sextiling it in the North Node. These are like destined kind of relationship aspects that are positively coming to action, and destined aspects that are destined to end. It's kind of a weird aspect, but it's very positive. And this new moon is really, really beautiful to me, because I think what I see out of this new moon's happening at 12 degrees of Cancer, and it's trining Neptune really positively. I just believe this is just a time for us to really get some backup. Whatever the universe did for the last, if you've been watching this channel, what the universe has been doing for a long time now, but we're talking about years, 5 years, 6 years, but especially in 2016. Let's stay in this year. This is a break here, and this is a break to really allow yourself to move in a positive new direction and regain your comfort levels, regain your feelings, regain your strength. And so this is really positive. This is this is a time of gratitude with Jupiter involved, with Venus. Gratitude of, sometimes the small things are what we need to appreciate. That's what Jupiter teaches us in Virgo, even though Jupiter would rather have us appreciate the biggest of things. Jupiter in Virgo, and I think Jupiter learns in Virgo, his own guru status learns, hey, the small things really can add up to big things. So this week, I ask you to see what are those little small things that I don't want to say that you haven't been noticing, but that you can appreciate more, because, and especially when the world finally comes to a place where you can take a break or relax a little bit, how can you appreciate that more? In relationships, how can you this week do better when it comes to letting your emotions really be heard, letting your emotions really be truthful and honest, and not being afraid to speak up how you feel, not being afraid to actually be something that maybe you were afraid to be in a relationship, being the role that maybe Or you know what, even reaching out to the person that you know that you really feel you have something for and reaching out to them. I don't think it's going to be confusing this week, but it's definitely going to be, it's going to hit you at the core. And this week is all about getting your core back to move forward, getting your core back to appreciate the little things in your life that you'll realize at this moment as a North Node and Jupiter break apart. It's almost like a dolphin and a humpback whale kind of doing this thing off in the ocean, and there's this beautiful moment. And this beautiful moment is that beauty and appreciation of your real feelings over the things that you haven't been looking at, that are right in front of you right now, that are part of your everyday life that you might take for granted. And those little things do matter in relationships. I mean, that's why Venus is at fall in Virgo, but this is Venus in Cancer. And this is a moment for us to see that we have a bigger emotional palette of many colors, and there are certain people that match those colors with us, and there are certain people that don't. And that doesn't mean that they're not beautiful artists or great people. It just means that we just color differently. And this week, I think we separate the ones that color differently and the ones that color similarly in a very more positive way. Although Pluto can bring harshness to this mess, so you might see some really weird breakup stuff happen this week, but you know, this is just mainly about moving forward on a new slate in all projects, in all relationships, and regaining your core and really getting a break from the universe finally. And by the end of this week, when we come into next week, when we come into the 5th, you'll notice, you're gonna notice things really have turned for you fast, out of nowhere. There's one thing that I will bring up about Saturn-Neptune squares. Things just happen so fast. But now that Mercury's come out of Gemini where things are coming fast, things are gonna slow down a little bit for you to really see forward. Yet at the same time, you're gonna notice that there were so many things that had built up so fast over the last, month, that they're finally all starting to come together now. And especially people that were already kind of dropped into place, that haven't made sense of why they're in your life, will come together this week. I pray that this week is nothing but beauty for you, that no matter what happens, that you are guided by beautiful love and light, that the angels above guide you into pure love and pure guidance in whatever decision you make and whatever decision the universe puts right in front of you. Because I believe that we are truly guided by a world that is preordained for our beauty to experience. And I believe that our guides and our angels are here to help assist us accept that preordained life and help us make just the choice of how we perceive it that much better. Thank you so much for all the support. I truly appreciate it. Again, if you want to get a free reading, share this video on my Facebook, David Lawrence Palmer. I appreciate all your support on the app. I appreciate your support if you come out to the desert and join me. We're doing an awesome astrology mixer. We're doing an awesome conference where I'm doing an 8-hour speech, literally, with workshops and different breaks and aspects. It's like in 6 sections. You can see it all at leokingevents.com. I talk about it all in the schedule. And then Sunday, and then if you want to spend the extra day, Monday, with me and hang out and talk astrology by the pool, that's an option as well. Other than that, it's kind of hard, and I'll just kind of say this, even though I don't know how long I went. I kind of lately on these uncuts have just kind of been, I'm just making, it's called uncut because it's so raw and real. Hold on, you want to make it raw and real? You guys know I drink a little Sprite. But it's kind of hard to beat last week's uncut, off-roading, and actually, you know what's so funny is that mountain top right there, that's where I off-roaded. So I went off-roading way back there. But, you know, the funny thing about last week's Uncut was it was like, I feel like, you know, I got back to my roots to really give a message out. And I feel like I'm rooted here, but I also am recording this the day before Mars goes retrograde, Mercury on its last degrees here of Gemini, and I think that we're all frazzled. And we all need to come back together and become whole. And that's the main message of this week. If I could just leave you with anything, that we're all coming back to whole. And last week I had a moment of that, but the second I got back in my car and the second I got back down the hill, boom, frazzled again. And even at this moment, I feel a little frazzled. And that's okay. And I think you gotta be okay that you're frazzled. You gotta be okay. People are losing their cool, you know? And even when Mars comes direct, it kind of is a waking snake, you know, and if it sees something in its lair it doesn't like, it might snap. Be careful of that even in yourself. There's a lot of snappiness, there's a lot, Mars also rules bombs and, you know, things are a little edgy. Remember, with Mars in Scorpio coming direct, but with the new moon trine Neptune, there is a softness that comes. There is a healing process that comes. There is an emotional, intuitive pull towards putting yourself back together and just doing whatever is necessary to do that and go in that direction and to not be afraid to do it. Anyway, I hope this was a good message for you. I feel like, man, sometimes it's hard when you give like a really good report like the week before and then it's like, gotta like match that. Ooh, man. I hope I was able to do that for you today. Thanks so much again. I will see you on the next Uncut.